Most people spend their whole lives trying to fix themselves. Baal HaSulam says that's the problem. In the early 1920s, a man named Yehuda Ashlag, who would become known as Baal HaSulam, sat in Jerusalem writing letters to his students. These weren't casual notes. They were surgical diagnoses of the human condition. And in the 7th letter, he identifies something almost nobody wants to hear. The reason your self-improvement efforts keep failing isn't weakness. It's that you're trying to fix the wrong thing. Now, before we unpack what he actually means, let's back up. Baal HaSulam lived through one of history's most turbulent periods. World War I had just ended. The world was remaking itself, and he was teaching a method of inner transformation that had almost been lost to time. His letters were his way of clarifying the deepest principles for students who couldn't always meet him in person. Letter 7 tackles a question that haunts every serious spiritual seeker. Why do we fail? We make resolutions. We commit to change. We want to be better, kinder, less reactive, more present. And yet we slip back into the same patterns within days or weeks. The guilt comes. The shame follows. And then we try again. Baal HaSulam's answer is stark. You're failing because you're operating from a fundamental misunderstanding about what you actually are. Most people think of themselves as a unified self, one coherent I that can choose to be different. But that's not what Kabbalah teaches. According to the tradition he inherited and clarified, you're not one thing. You're a battlefield. Inside you, there are competing desires. There's what Kabbalah calls the desire to receive for oneself alone, your ego, your appetite for comfort, status, pleasure, avoidance of pain. This desire is ancient. It's built in. It's not evil, it's mechanical. It's the operating system you were born with. And then there's something else, something much quieter, a capacity to want something beyond yourself, to feel connection, to serve, to give. Kabbalah calls this the desire to bestow, and it's not something you're born with fully activated. It's a seed. It needs cultivation. Here's where Baal HaSulam cuts to the truth. When you try to change yourself through willpower alone, you're asking your ego to overpower your ego. You're asking the desire to receive to somehow shut itself down. That's not a battle. That's a contradiction. It's like asking fire to stop being hot. So what actually works? Baal HaSulam teaches that real change happens when you shift the balance of power between these two desires. Not by eliminating the ego, that's impossible and would kill you, but by making the desire to give, to connect, to serve become stronger, more attractive, more real to you than the desire to take. And how do you do that? Not through punishment or shame, not through grinding willpower. Baal HaSulam says it happens through understanding, through study, through connection with others who are trying the same thing, through what Kabbalah calls the environment, the group, the teaching, the influence of something higher than your individual ego. This is radical. It means your spiritual work isn't primarily about self-discipline. It's about changing the environment you're in, who you spend time with, what you read, what you listen to. What influences shape your desires? Because your desires aren't fixed. They're plastic. They respond to what surrounds them. Think about it practically. If you want to stop being irritable, you don't just white-knuckle your way to patience. You surround yourself with patient people. You study teachings about why patience matters. You join a group where kindness is the actual culture, not an aspiration. You let that environment reshape what feels normal to you. Baal HaSulam goes deeper. He says that the only force strong enough to override your built-in ego is love. Not sentimental love, but the recognition that other people aren't obstacles to your happiness. They are the very substance of it, that your own joy is inseparable from theirs. This is what love your neighbor as yourself actually means in Kabbalah. It's not a command to be nice. It's a description of a state of consciousness where the boundary between me and them dissolves, where you literally feel their needs as your own. That state is the only real antidote to ego. Now, does that sound impossible? Baal HaSulam knew it would, but he also knew something else. You're not meant to achieve it alone, and you're not meant to achieve it overnight. This is a process, a gradual rewiring of what you desire, and it begins the moment you stop fighting yourself and start aligning yourself with something greater. That's the insight of letter 7. You can't fix yourself through self-hatred or willpower. You can only transform through connection to teaching, to community, to a vision of yourself as part of something larger. Your ego isn't the enemy. It's just incomplete. It's missing its context. And once you understand that, once you really grasp it, your entire approach to change shifts. You stop asking, how do I force myself to be better? And start asking, what environment, what people, what teaching would naturally make me want to be better? That question changes everything. Baal HaSulam's letters aren't blueprints for instant enlightenment. They are maps. And letter 7 is a map showing you why you've been lost and why the way out isn't where you've been looking. It's not inside your isolated will. It's in connection, in environment, in the presence of others. If you're serious about understanding how transformation actually works, not the fantasy version, but the real mechanics, subscribe. Each week, we dive into these teachings in ways that connect to your actual life, your actual struggles. Because authentic Kabbalah isn't abstract philosophy. It's a guide for becoming genuinely different. Subscribe. We unpack Baal HaSulam's teachings on transformation every week, and you won't want to miss the next one.